All right, guys, somebody asked me the other day why we use Exergy Performance for all of our high-pressure fuel system, injectors, and pumps. And the real reason is we trust them. We get a consistent, high-performance product from the same supplier every time. Now, yeah, they have competitive prices, and that's great. But the real thing is when you're doing something like injectors or you're doing a CP3 pump or you're doing something with your fuel system, you got to know that this is the lifeblood of your truck. This is going to make the difference of everything, how it performs, what temps it runs at, what power you make. It all comes down to your fuel system matched with your air system. And that's why when it comes to the fuel side of that equation, we only trust Exergy Performance. This is Paul Wilson.
Chris Patterson.
And you're listening to the Diesel Performance Podcast. Guys, I'm here for a special episode with the alternate, Chris Patterson. Now, coming into this event, you got an even later notice than the rest of these guys, huh, Chris?
I did. KJ called me on a Sunday evening at UCC, basically asked if we had what it took to step up and be an alternate. As usual, the elected alternate got in, someone wasn't able to make it, and so you need someone else on deck, and that was us, so we're here and we're ready.
Now, explain for our listeners how the alternate position works, because I guess I wasn't even totally clear on it.
The big thing on DPC is a deadline. You have to be here, registered by 5 p.m. on Sunday, and then you have to be checked in, you and your crew and your truck are ready to go for pictures and stickers Monday morning by 8 a.m. If you're not here and ready, the alternate comes into play. At that point, if everyone's in the game, the alternate does not get to compete. But if someone is a no-show, then I step in and I get to party.
Gotcha. Okay. So you end up getting the truck prepped, which we all know how much of a nightmare and how much work goes into getting a truck prepped for DPC. And then you get to come out here, take a week off of work, and watch the event.
That's correct. We get to come and we get to fully help and support everybody and be here and talk trucks and really enjoy it. And to be honest with you, I think I get more attention than the actual competitors. The truck, it's a Dodge Dually. It's a 07. It's got a 6.2, big motor, big fuel, big air. It gets a lot of attention, and no one gets to see it run. So they're like, hey, who's that guy in that dually over there? That thing looks like it's set up for sled pulling. We need to watch out. And then they never see it. So we get a lot of questions. We get a lot of attention.
That's awesome, man. Let's talk a little bit about the truck. Now, this is one you brought to my attention this morning. I might have skimmed over a little bit when we were doing the initial overview of all of the field of people we could vote on. So walk me through it, man. Like you said, 06 Cummins, Dually. How big of fuel? How big of air?
Oh, it's just another Cummins. Just another Cummins. 07,
I may or may not have said that.
Guilty. It was 07, 5.9, 48. Bought the truck as a wholesale unit, completely stock. Second day, it needed a transmission. Pulled the trans out of the race truck, stuck it in the daily now, and then the build evolved after one failure to the other. Now it's a sleeved 6.7 block down to a 40 over 5.9 with a 6.7 crank, a CP Carrillo hybrid kit. So it's got 5.9 hybrid pistons and a 6.7 hybrid rod, brings it to a 6.2. And then bankside draft, 350% F1 injectors, twin 12 mil BD pumps, 464 on the manifold and 488 on the atmosphere. A little bit smaller than the normal setup, but our altitude up here is 5,800 feet, but the density altitude with the humidity and the air and the temperature brings us to 10,000 feet last night. So I left it a little bit smaller, hoping that we could spool it a little bit quicker and make that bottom end torque, because it's not just about horsepower in this game.
Now, what do you normally do with this truck?
I daily drive it.
300% injectors, I catch that right?
350.
350, I'm sorry.
Don't shorten it.
Didn't mean to downplay it. Okay, yeah, so just a normal daily driver for you. Now, you said from here. Are you from Colorado? Are you in the area?
We're from Texas, man. It's down there, we're 800 feet. So we can get away and make a whole lot more power down there. But Texas is a great state. It's huge. You can make hits every day. And the cops are like, sounds like it runs good. We get away with a lot more than what you can up here. KJ can testify to that. I was the first one to check in. I was the first one to get in trouble. I was the first one to get attention. but it is what it is. We're here to have fun, and we're here to rock and roll. So we're here.
Now, with this type of experience, you're getting to see behind the scenes, you're getting to have a lot of fun, you're getting to witness all of it, and it's a closed event, so it's not like we get spectators at this show. Are you going to be back in for the voting next year? Are you excited to be a competitor?
Oh, we're winning next year. There's no doubt. No, we're coming full force. This was my qualifying, or this was my, road test. This was my feeling out. What does it take? How did the altitude really affect it? How does that fuel economy test really work? It works. And I'll tell you what, don't underestimate that fuel economy test. A lot of people say, oh, that's not the same thing. You go put your truck on there. You go make it do like these guys do and use, 0.1 gallons of fuel, 20 minutes from wide open to nothing. I mean, this is no joke. This is not to be taken lightly. If you have the ultimate street truck, by all means, enter DPC and let's find out.
That's so awesome. Who do you want to give a shout out to, Chris?
Man, I could shout out people for days. Phil Taylor of DPC Converters, man, he's always taking care of my torque converters. There's never been a problem. Heck of a guy. Matt Sancher with that new Sancher shaft, that solid input shaft. I cannot tell you how firm and strong lockup is and knowing that you're not going to break an input. Gordon Lindemuth does all my tuning. I can't speak highly enough of him. That alone was the very best investment I've ever made in the truck. Banks with a side draft intake manifold. I tell you what, you take the time, you take the head off, you chop the side off that thing, you port the crap out of it and you put it on, that's air right there. Power driven diesels helped me out with the clutch stack and the transmission so many times. Can't thank them enough. We build our own engines and our own transmissions, and that's, I can't afford to buy a $15,000 trans that's gold. I can't afford these nice fancy motors that have 2 letters on the valve cover. I got to build. I'm a working class guy. I own my own shop. I'm not rich. My wife makes more than I do. So yeah, she supports this.
Chris, if people want to follow along, they want to find out more about your truck and your shop, how can they get a hold of you?
My shop's called Summit Diesel. We're in Weatherford, Texas. We're on Facebook, Summit Diesel, Instagram, Summit Diesel TX. Me personally, Chris Patterson, Chris_PAT05 on Instagram, Chris Patterson on Facebook. Website's www.summitdiesel.com. We build trucks. That's what we do.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Chris. We're excited to have you here, and I know we're going to see you back again next year.
Yeah, it'll just be another comment. It's nothing big.
Guys, for today, this has been Paul Wilson.
Chris Patterson.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.